Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the ITP Paladin. Oh my god, I'm so awkward. I haven't done this in a while. Excuse the mess that's going on, like, somewhat behind me. We are going through the moving procedures, like I mentioned, so our house is a little bit messy. I've been having to pull out a lot of things that I put in storage, so let's just get this out of the way, that it's going to be a little messy from time to time, and I'm not even really making videos. I am planning to get a stream set up, so the green screen will come back up. I'll be on my computer. We'll be doing some stuff. Let me check on that again real quick. I think I am about 5 subscribers away. Yep, I am 5 subscribers away from 150. So the plan is this. When I hit 150, I will do a stream night, and I will do it here on YouTube instead of doing it on Kick, because that's going to require a little bit more time. When I am done, when I do hit that goal and when I do the stream, I'm just going to watch some videos on YouTube. I'm going to do some things. It's going to be a nice little fun event. I will not be able to play any games. Unfortunately, I don't have that set up. I actually took my streaming stuff down from my Xbox, and on top of that, there's not really any game that would be deemed interesting enough. So it's going to be more of an in real life, you know, talking with my stream kind of thing. So I look forward to you actually having a conversation with you guys, literally about everything and anything. Mostly Overwatch related, but let's be 100% honest, it could be anything and everything. Heck, I might even post some videos on my Christian channel. Which, by the way, I want to quickly note one thing. So Pride Month has been going on. I'm not gonna talk to the whole slew of what's going on here. As a Christian, I do not support the LGBTQ movement, and I'm being as respectful as I can be. I want people to understand that this is not meant to be kind of like I absolutely hate the whole, like, no, back it up. I'm all for people. I'm all for what you want to do with your life. I cannot force you to change your life. I cannot force you to do anything that you don't want to do, and this month is wide enough to the point where there's not really much that one person, me, can do about it, and even if I could, I kind of don't want to. I don't want to piss people off. I want my community to be happy, and on top of that, this is the gaming channel. This is not the place to have my personal beliefs being shoved onto people. This is for the games that we enjoy. So I'm in the moving process, so I can't game. There's just too much going on physically that's draining me, so I won't be able to do that, but just know I'm not doing that here. But if we want to have those conversations, by all means, drop those comments. I'll answer them on my next channel. Check it out. The whole point of the Christian channel is to take on debate questions and actually challenge the hard things. So if you guys want to check that out, it's meant for both Christian and non-Christians to have their conversations, hopefully civilly, and we can go about our lives. Just wanted to throw that out there because Pride Month is still going on, and I hope everybody's enjoying their time, whatever not. So let's quickly move on to the crux of why I'm here. So I never get my directions right. So Aaron Keller put up a Director's Take, and I just wanted to quickly read this verbatim. So while we're covering this, so Director's Take, this is from Aaron Keller directly about the balance change updates that they have planned for Season 5. So as Season 4 ends, they would like to look at the game's balance. In this season, they saw a wide selection of heroes get played, and for the most part, the game felt fairly balanced, and from the win rate perspective, Seasons 3 and 4 were some of the most balanced in Overwatch history. Debatable. He has the statistics. I haven't looked at it in a while, but that is an interesting statement to make, considering that it didn't feel too terribly balanced, but I guess, you know, to take that with a grain of salt, it can go back and forth. With this in mind, let's look at 3 different well, okay, actually, I'll change that, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll change my take on the thing. I haven't been playing, so I cannot be the one to directly say it, but remember that they're basing their balance on 2 specific criteria. They're basing it off of pick rate, and they're basing it off of hero win rate. So just be aware of that when they talk about balance. I don't think that that's 100% accurate. But, again, I haven't been playing as often, so let's just be honest. With this in mind, let's look at 3 different topics from Season 4 and talk about how they'll change in Season 5. So I'll bypass this one. He's going to go over heroes like Junker Queen, Lifeweaver, and one-shots and crowd control abilities in 5v5. I'm going to quickly make a hot take. I'm not one of those people that's going to say, oh, 6v6 would save everything. But the thing is, like, the game was built on a 6v6 mentality. They had a different idea of how that 6v6 would work. there's been a whole bunch of takes on what would potentially fix the game, and I'm not going to be the guy that says that 6v6 will fix everything, but I do think that 6v6 would definitely bring things back to, because here's the thing, they changed it to 5v5 on the promise that PvE would be coming too, and that the balance would reflect across everywhere, and they had these whole slew of promises that are no longer coming true, which, by the way, I'll make another video on that if you guys really want me to. I'm not going to talk about that here. But all in all, 6v6, I'll be 100% honest, I think that it would fix a chunk of issues that we're having. So I really do want to just emphasize that I don't care what direction they choose to go, I'll be happy with whatever. But 6v6 would probably fix the issues that a lot of people are having. And it would just be worth the perspective and the change that hopefully they'll at least strongly put it on consideration. It's really weird. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. Whatever. Standouts in Season 4 mid-season patch. Junker Queen had some serious buffs that helped her to dominate. I've been seeing that with Flats' videos. Win rate popped up about 5% from one of the lowest picks in the tanks to highest, but going from 45 to 50 is not... whatever. Again, this is the problem with just looking at pick rate and win rate. Those are not the only two stats you need to look at. For most skill tiers, Queen and Reinhardt were the two most picked tanks of the season. No duh, because Reinhardt is always a strong pick. However, in Masters and above, Queen is far and away the most picked tank, and one of the big changes that was made to the increase of healing to her passive and her playstyle makes Queen too survivable, so they're reducing the commanding shout from 200 to 150 to compensate, increasing her ult cost, so they're doing some micro nerfs here. And I want to quickly put this out there that I have a few lists of changes that I'll actually talk about it when I stream, but I have an idea of lists that I want to run by with hopefully an Overwatch coach or a pro or whatever not, kind of get an idea going about the validity of my thought process behind this. But the micro buff that are micro nerf here that they're talking about for Junker Queen, I don't think that was too far off from what I was mentioning. No, it's pretty much different. I'll go over it a little bit later. The point is that the micro nerf that they're talking about, it's not really. I don't think that's too big of a big deal. I think it'll be fine, but again, I haven't been playing, so only way I'll know is when I get back into it after I get settled into my new home. Lifeweaver is a really dynamic hero. False. I'm just going to throw this out there. Lifeweaver, in my personal opinion, has a whole slew of problems, and the biggest one is that a lot of pros and lower-end players all are in agreement that this hero is not as dynamic as the people want to make him seem. He is way too clunky. He is way too broken. None of his kit works the way that they're trying to pitch it. And even I see it that if they go just by the stats that they care about, pick rate and win rate, he's already a busted and broken hero, and not in a good way. Honestly, going back into that list that I made, I covered everything from tank, damage, and support. I think that the best way to handle Lifeweaver is to remove him from the game until they can properly fix him. They removed Bastion, Torb, and Mei for less. Lifeweaver seems like a pretty important... I think the only reason they left him in was because of Pride Month. I won't go into that, but it's just a theory anyway. Moving on with their end of things, some of the plays that people pulled off during Season 4 were pretty astonishing. Man, he's really trying to pitch the hell out of this hero. It's like you served up a plate of shit and he's trying to hype you up and like, no, it ain't that bad. Like, holy crap. However, he's not powerful enough to build a solid pick for most players. No. I like some of the pick over the other roster. That's the goal for new heroes. Duh, you always want the new hero to get play time so that people can, give you the most feedback that you can. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to expect that. However, at the moment, we are looking at the best way to bring Lifeweaver to a baseline. I'll tell you what you do. You remove him and you bring him back in. Again, you've removed heroes for less. Why is Lifeweaver any different other than the fact that he's the first openly pansexual hero in the game? I don't have a problem that he's pansexual. The problem is that you're not prioritizing fixing your game over the character development that you oh so care about. That's kind of my biggest problem with this, is like they're caring too much about the wrong thing. The game is suffering gameplay-wise. Why are you not focusing on the gameplay, and why are you focusing more about the character and their development behind the scenes? It's kind of like one of the big question marks over my head, but whatever. Once people are playing him more, we'll get a cleaner read on the character. Duh! Players will either start utilizing the very parts of... What are you talking about? He's not as unique as you're making him out to be. It's literally, as I've just stated before, you gave us a plate of shit, and then you're trying to hype it up like, oh, it's the best shit that we've ever get. Like, no. Get out of here with that. In Season 5, a few changes, mostly buffs coming to Lifeweaver. I think they've mentioned something. Oh, yeah, right here. I didn't see it because I skipped down. They're going to expect increases to his healing and damage output, a heal on his life grip, and a slightly reduced hitbox, and quality of life changes to pedal platform. I don't know what they're exactly planning, but none of his kit is as dynamic as they're trying to make it seem, but whatever. The community is voice okay, so this is the big problem that I just had, and I watched a video with Spylo, of all people. I'll be 100% honest, I didn't find that guy too interesting for the longest time, and I just watched it, and he has a pretty good take on it. But I have my own description of it, and hopefully it's not too shallow. The community has voiced concerns over the number of one-shots in both Widowmaker and Hanzo. Okay, first off, that's 2 heroes out of, like, what? 37, 38? Yeah, those are the only 2 that can consistently one-shot for sure. The only other 2 that you could technically add to that list, which are not as efficient but can be, is Sojourn, not even, and Roadhog, not even. You can kind of count Ash in on that to an extent, but she doesn't even one-shot unless the hero's already weakened, which doesn't count for anything. The frequency of these in-game, as well as shore up some of the extreme sightlines in some of our maps. Her damage fall-off will change from 70 to 100 meters to 40 and 60. I think that's a mistake. I mean, I know that a good portion of the sightlines are about 40, but she should... But the damage fall-off secular will also increase from 30% to... Okay, I'm making sure I understand that real quick. I had to process that. Damage fall-off secular will also increase from 30% to 50%. Then you're literally... Why is she a sniper then? Why have a sniper hero if you're just going to make her take the sniper out of the sniper? She serves no purpose. You can literally get more value out of Hanzo at close range. Heck, you may as well just be playing Ashe at that point if you're going to just kill off her entire range. Why would she be a sniper then? She'll still have the ability to one-shot 200 health heroes at 50 meters or less, but further than that, it will no longer have a killing blow. Then you're killing off the purpose of why she's... No. I think in order to make this change viable, like, I understand what they're getting at. Like, there's never really a sightline that's ever 70 or 100 meters distance. So 40, 60 seems a little too low. I think maybe 50, 70 would be better because there are sightlines that do hit those lengths. But at 50 meters, no. I think that it should be at 60 meters or less, and that extra 10 meters does mean a lot. That is the big difference. That is a big difference. Further than that, it will no longer be a killing blow, and Hanzo will also receive a slight nerf to his damage so that he's no longer able to one-shot 250 health. Well, 250 health heroes. Okay, so narrow it down to 200, and that makes more sense. That means that Reaper, May, Bastion will be able to survive the headshots. Okay, that makes sense. Sonic Arrow will be also more recognizable by the enemy team. Reduces kills so that he feels the same... Wait, let me reread that. I totally just went dyslexic. The intent here is to reduce his kills that feel like they come out of nowhere. So... Here's the problem. In fact, you know what? I'll finish just reading it. We are constantly discussing the nature of one-shots in Overwatch 2 and whether they are healthy for the game in general. Okay, here's the biggest problem that a lot of people that have caused these complaints are not realizing. So let me give you a hypothetical example. You're on offense on Havana. and you're starting the match. It's brand new. You get in. It's a competitive match. You're going to swap sides later, but you're coming out of attack spawn. You're like, okay, I'm ready. You're playing soldier. You're ready to go out that door. 5, 4. Okay, here we go. We're gonna gun it to the point. The tank's gonna go up there. We're all gonna take the point. We're gonna move it as far forward as possible. Let's just be ready for whatever they have. 3, 2, 1, go! Door closes, you go out. You run and gun to that point. Oh, you got your head taken off because they got a widow and you didn't check your team, the enemy team, before it becoming available. But now you know they have a widow. What I'm gonna describe is not an exact figure, but a rough figure of the mentality that players go through. So you get your head taken. And then you're like, oh, okay, so they got a widow. I gotta be careful about that. You spawn back in the room. You run out the room, but then you charge the middle again and going, okay, I'm gonna just get back on point and then I'll take it from that. You get your head taken off again. This is the principle of fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know they have a widow. Why are you still playing openly? Too many of the complaints are coming from people who don't understand what it means to change up your playstyle to counter the heroes that are there. And this is something that coaches have been reinforcing whenever I look up a VOD or two every once in a while, because I look up the VODs for Soldier 76, I look up the VODs for McCree, I look up the VODs for Widowmaker, I look up for Ash. I have my select number of heroes that I play. So the thing here is that a lot of them will tell you, first and foremost, adapt. You have to make the change on the spot. You need to pick quick. You got to work through it because they're going to get you within a matter of seconds if you don't change your playstyle. If you don't make the changes, nothing is going to change. You're going to lose, you're going to get rolled, you're going to get frustrated, blah, blah, blah. So what I just described is an overall general sense of how the player base is. They don't change up anything, they keep playing, and they do not give respect to the one-shots that they claim are a problem in the game, even though the real problem is that you're not playing around it properly. So take that point on Havana. The proper way to take it, and you could use this as an exact figure if you want, is, okay, you go onto the point, you get your head taken the first time. Okay, they got a widow, I gotta play around that. So now you run out as soldier, but instead of taking the main way to go there, you realize, okay, they have a widow. I can't just go out in the open because if I go willy-nilly and I let her have sight of me, I'm not going to be able to take her out efficiently without getting my head taken. So you have some options on Havana. You can go right and take the other doors, then you could go around, you can maneuver your way, finagle, stay out of sight, she won't be able to snipe you, and then when you can get up to her and go behind, go up the stairs, go up to her, and take her out from the back line if none of the enemy team sees you to get there. In which case, you're still making a press, and, you know, it's a risk, but high risk, high reward. And then what you could also do is instead go out the left entrance and go that way, and you can contest her from a shorter sight line, but now she has to focus on that long sight line where she's getting picks and the short sight line where she's getting pressed from. So the point here that I'm trying to make is that that's the smart way to do it. You wouldn't have these problems of getting your head taken if you played smarter. And on top of that, there is a skill thing that a lot of people don't really realize, that when it comes to these one-shots, you have to get precise for a headshot hitbox. A lot of players, I don't think anybody really realizes, usually go for body shots. I go for body shots still, and I'm climbing up from plat. I don't always, like, critical accuracy on the best of players is not even reaching anywhere from like 12 or so percent. I have to look up those numbers again, so don't quote me on this. But the last time I looked, the critical percentage is usually around an average when you're really good, 12%, but even that is not the average. The average percentage is usually about 8 or so percent. 8% out of 100 for critical accuracy on most heroes. The only exceptions to that rule are Widowmaker, because she primarily uses scoped, and sometimes you can kind of get better. But remember, that still takes skill. That still takes skill. There is a skill issue on these one-shots. We're not just getting these headshots willy-nilly like, okay, let me just do that. Like, no, you're hyper-focusing. You're making sure that you get that precise angle, that you're able to get that flick. Most flicks, by the way, are roughly luck. It kind of depends. But also remember that there's a number of factors in which a Widow can get the value that she gets. So all in all, my explanation here is that Widow is not in all inherently the problem, it's your playstyle. You're in control of your hero, you're in control of your behavior. If you're running out mid and you know that there's a Widowmaker, don't complain when you get your head shaven off, because you don't respect the one-shot capability that she has. I'm sorry that you don't like her enough to respect the amount of output that she can bring. That's not her problem. That's yours. In fact, you know what? The best epitome of the one-shot argument is literally that meme with the guy riding his bicycle with the stick, sticking it in his spoke, and then literally blaming it on the stick, even though he's the one who shoved the stick inside the spoke. That's literally the epitome of the sniper argument. And that's all I want to quickly end on right there, because we're going to go into their argument about this. So lastly, we'd like to talk a bit about crowd control abilities in the game. Now, here's something funny. I actually agree with having some crowd control, because without crowd control, too many abilities that were kept in tandem because of crowd control are now running rampant. So I think adding a little bit of crowd control back in, maybe not as prominent as it was in the first game, maybe a little kept down low but still out there and available, wouldn't be a bad thing. Just throwing that out there. No, it did not kill the game off as much as you remember it. It was not that bad. A lot of people overly complained about it. Lastly, talking about crowd control abilities in the game, when we launched Overwatch 2, we made some significant changes to our combat model. The biggest was a shift from 6v6 to 5v5. And part of that was to remove the crowd control abilities from the damage and support heroes. Overall, we think that this was a positive change to the game. Well, duh, but now you're introducing heroes that kinda might need that taming. That's a problem. At times, the original game felt as if you were in a pinball machine. No. But we have a lot of high mobility heroes in the roster. Whoa, what a coincidence! You had it in the first game too. But please continue with your point. And a team can't always rely on their... That is the most ignorant part of the statement I've read. You can't always rely on their tank to take off... What? Wait, we have a lot of high mobility, and a team can't always rely on their tank to take of them. I don't even know what he wrote there. So we're softening our approach here. We don't want to return to the state of the game it was previously in, duh, but we feel like there's room for more CC, especially soft CC in our lineup. We'll be making changes to both May and McCassidy. I was going to say McCree for Season 5 with this in mind. Her endothermic blaster will be updated and the primary fire will slow targets, but will also build up to an effect that will apply a much larger slow for 1.5 seconds. For players of the original game, it'll feel familiar to the way her old weapon worked. Basically, they're introducing freeze without freeze. They're making it so it may as well be freeze, but they're still giving you the option of mobility. McCree's magnetic grenade, honestly, they should just refer it back to the flashbang. I don't know why they don't just do that. Magnetic grenade will also get updated to deal less damage, as well as applying... Okay, so why don't you just remove him from the game too as well? Like, half of the reason for the flashbang stun combo was because he needed some form of utility to make his kit work. Because, yes, you can get value from doing that, but if you get hard focused, you're done. At least the Flash provided a kind of like a, okay, we can't get too close to him until he wastes his ability. I guess arguments can be made on both sides. I'm not really here to argue this right now. My brain is fried with all the moving and stuff. Again, I just wanted to put out a video. Magnetic grenade will get updated to deal less damage, as well as applying an effect that slows and blocks movement abilities. Why not just give it a stun again? What? I would rather just have stun at that point. You're literally... Okay, just gonna move on. On top of these changes, we'll also be making some tweaks to several other heroes in Season 5, hopefully for Soldier and hopefully for the better. We can't wait for you to see them when our patch notes go live, as well as other fun things we got coming in the game this season. As always, thanks for reading, and we'll see you in game. Let's have a look at some comments right here real quick. Thanks for the update, Aaron. Had a lot of fun playing Season 4 and a lot of great changes. The community has also... Darn, alright, okay. We're making changes. Hey, okay. Widow, Hanzo nerfs fine. Oh my god. People are just so ignorant, honestly. My day has been saved. I bet you're a support player. He's the size of a tank. No, he's not. Shut up. That's supposed to be for Lifeweaver. The Widow nerfs sound amazing. No. Hanzo is not a problem. I face up against Hanzo all. The Widow nerfs sound amazing. No, they don't. Can't wait to see. Also, Sonic Arrow being made more noticeable is huge. A huge frustration with Hanzo is not knowing when he can see you. Okay, that I can kind of understand, but at the same time, like, it's not really that big of a problem to take a Hanzo in a 1v1. First and foremost, you just need to learn how to bait out his abilities and not give him a way of killing you immediately. Like, you have to play the corner. When you take him, when you start your engagement, take the advantage. Like, if you're playing Soldier, launch your rockets first and weaken him. And when he inevitably uses his jump ability and his mobility is gone, he'll have to switch to his storm arrows. But by that point, you should have enough time between those three things to gun him down, because it's not that hard. Close range heroes, I won't get one shot by point blank by a Hanzo arrow. Didn't go hard enough on the Hanzo. Yeah, I'm kind of done reading these comments. Widow nerfs without nerfs to Pharaoh, Echo, and Mercy. A joke. Well, hopefully this makes people band together and call for pharmacy nerfs more vigorously. I kind of agree with that. Excuse me. I don't know how they would do that, but I do agree, like, if you're gonna nerf the hell out of Widow and take away her efficiency, then the other ones are just gonna come in and dominate anyway, so there's not really a point. I'm kind of done reading the comments. There's really no point. So let me know what you guys think down below, because quite honestly, I would love to cover this more in depth, but yeah. Today, right now, is the 7th of June, so I may or may not upload this today, or I might do it tomorrow. I'm having quite a long day, and I kind of want to do other things before the evening sets in with our evening activities and my baby wakes up from nap. So, again, let me know what your thoughts are down below, and we'll continue the conversation on another video. Be looking forward to that stream that I'll do when I hit 150. So hopefully I'll see you guys there, and we can have a nice little conversation about Overwatch and the state of the balances and everything, and I'll catch you then. Later.